So I caught some fake news here on Global News, and I'm pretty pissed off, really pissed off. This is Jamie Pizanza. He owns a booze can on Triumph Street. I've known him since, let's see, around 2002. He's a bit of an asshole, 100%. I'll give him that. He'll probably even tell you himself he's an asshole. And he is not a racist, and I will stand up for him because he's not a racist. He's had black people and Oriental people in his booze can. Never, ever have I witnessed him be anything other than an asshole. Not a racist. This had nothing to do with race. The guy just happened to be an Oriental. And they're turning it into a racist frickin' propaganda. This really makes me madder than hell. Yes, he's an asshole, okay? But he's not a racist, and you just made that up. And I'll tell you what he was affected by. Because he's mainstream bright, okay? Which is not very bright. And the fear porn that our news continually pushed affected him. Which has affected a lot of people that aren't very smart, okay? If you don't have critical thinking, you may be affected by these freaking news people. You don't do your research and your numbers game in the statistics, you could be affected. I'm pretty pissed off.
2-year-old Asian man with dementia grabbed and thrown out of this Vancouver convenience store.
I've already got mad at anyone that thought that this was okay. And I can't find anybody that finds this okay except for one or two of Jamie's friends. But they're stupid fucktards, so they don't count. This had nothing to do with Asian. This had 100% to do with global CTV and all the news stations pushing fear. And then the worst thing is when you look at the statistics in Canada, death was up 14,000. And we've had about 700,000 new people in Canada. The pandemic didn't even frickin' show up in the death certificates, British Columbia or Canada. So, fuck off, CTV.
Or slamming his head on the pavement.
This made me so mad when he did this.
By fear over the pandemic, Abby Go has.
Now, if anyone's doing racist against the Orientals, that makes me madder than hell because I really like the Orientals. I love shopping in Chinatown. I get treated better in Chinatown than if I go to London Drugs on Hastings Street. I won't even go to that London Drugs anymore. I get wonderful service every time in Chinatown. So don't bother the Chinese. The people that are involved are a different class of people. They're our ruling class and the super wealthy. They're organizing everything. The regular Chinese people have nothing to do with it. They're victims just like anyone else.
Personal experience. This summer, a group of young people spat on the...
This is nothing compared to what I have to survive in downtown East Side as a 59-year-old woman. I jumped in, and as a 58-year-old woman, I jumped in the middle of a knife fight last year to prevent a stranger from getting stabbed even more. No fear. I've been robbed. I have had death threats so many times from an ex-roommate that I got on Craigslist. And he took a gun to the SPCA to get his big dog out. And only did 30 days in jail or 90 days, something very little. So quite frankly, you can't even phone the cops anymore for a death threat because they don't care. And now they're pretending this is just to deflect from the jab. People have been really rude throughout this pandemic. Nothing like London Drugs, though. Twice in London Drugs, I had such an episode. I will never go back to London Drugs. How they treat people downtown at London Drugs is incredibly poor. So stop. If you're going to do news, make sure it's real, you fucktards.